Talk to me, Michele, on the street lights on the corner. City vibes got a story. Feel the beat, don't ignore me.
Well. Look who decided to press play today. Welcome back to Talk to Me, Michele, the show where we talk about real life, real love, and real people waking the hell up. Hope everybody is doing well. Your girl's doing fabulous. I'm up in this piece. Real excited about today's episode. And I want to get to the topic. But before I do, I got to get into the letter of the week. Very interesting. And I'm going to call this one Friendship Friction. Because nothing brings out the claws and the passive-aggressive text messages quite like a wedding and an insecure friend who didn't quite make the list. So let's unpack this mess. Dear Michele, I'm hoping you can lend your wisdom to a situation brewing within my close-knit group of friends. There are 4 of us, myself, who I will call myself Sarah, William, Chloe, and Ben. William and Chloe recently got engaged, which is fantastic news. We are all thrilled for them. However, things have gotten a little awkward regarding the wedding guest list. William and Chloe are having a relatively small wedding. The issue is that they've decided not to invite Ben's longtime girlfriend. Apparently, Chloe has never really clicked with her and feels the wedding should be just for their closest friends and family. Ben is understandably hurt and feels like by not inviting his girlfriend that they're saying she's not close enough, even though they've been together for over 3 years. Now he's acting distant with them and is creating a real rift in our group. As the neutral party, I'm caught in the middle. I understand William and Chloe's desire for a Pacific atmosphere at their wedding, but I also see Ben's perspective. His girlfriend is a big part of his life. How can we navigate this? Should I try to mediate? Should Ben just accept their decision? Or is there a way for everyone to feel respected in this situation? Hoping you can shed some light on this tricky friend dynamic. I'm gonna say this is a classic friendship pressure point, especially when it comes to these events like weddings. You know, they come into play. It's tricky because everyone has valid feelings here. Now, as far as the couple, they do have the right to put on their guest list who they want at their wedding. It's their day. And the pressure to invite everyone can be very intense. You know, sometimes it's for budget reasons, personal reasons. People have to make tough choices when it comes to weddings. So the fact the bride-to-be is not clicking with her friend's girlfriend, that's not ideal. I don't think that's going to be a real good atmosphere. Who wants to celebrate their day with somebody you can't stand in a room? You know what I mean? That's difficult. But Ben's feelings, they are completely valid as well. Because 3 years, that's a significant relationship. And I'm sure with his girlfriend not being included, that could feel like a personal slight. Not just to her, but to him as well. Now, your instinct to want to mediate, that's completely natural, but I would really tread lightly on that. Because you don't want to become the messenger that gets shot. I would not try to directly change William and Chloe's mind. You may want to have a heart-to-heart with Ben first, acknowledge that his feelings are hurt, he's frustrated, and let him know, I see your side of it. Then have a separate conversation, a nice gentle one with William and Chloe, not to demand that they invite the girlfriend, but to help them understand the impact their decision is having on Ben and consequently on the friendship group. You could say something like, I know you have your reasons for the guest list, but I want to let you know that Ben is feeling a certain way. You know, he's feeling left out, and it's making things a bit tense for all of us. So ultimately, William and Chloe, they get to decide who attends their wedding. Ben has to decide how he wants to respond to whatever decision they make. He's going to have to accept it, even if he doesn't like it. The risk of William and Chloe is potentially damaging their friendship with Ben. And sometimes behind weddings, as well as funerals, you lose family members and friends. I'm telling you. So there's no easy answer here. Just be open, honest, empathetic communication is key. Even if it doesn't lead to the outcome everybody desires. Ben needs to feel heard. William and Chloe need to understand the ripple effects of their choices. And that's my 2 cents on that, so I hope that helps out. Best of luck to you on that situation. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get into it because I want to address this head on. Tina Knowles. Yes, Beyonce and Solange's mama. And clearly a woman who doesn't have time for a man playing in her face. And recently said, and I quote, "I woke up." Now, when a woman who's over 70 says, "I woke up," that means she took off the rose-colored glasses that she was wearing and realized, why am I still doing this? Okay? And I'm going to say this because a lot of hate was coming online when this article about Tina Knowles moving on from her marriage with Richard Lawson over 8 years. There was a lot of things I think we saw, but sometimes we try so hard to fit a certain compartment in life that we just deal for situation. So this is not just celebrity tea. It's a whole grown woman moment. Because sometimes it does take 8 years, a beach house, and a few side eyes at brunch to realize you're happier single. And you don't need a +1 to feel whole. So today's episode is about just that. Waking up, choosing peace over performance, and why being single doesn't mean being sentenced to a lifetime of eating frozen dinners in silence, okay? So buckle up, beauties. It's about to get honest, hilarious, and a little uncomfortable for some of y'all still holding on to that man out of habit. So let's get into this. Tina Knowles' woke up moment. Yes, because baby, that hit different. It did hit different. The tea is Tina Knowles, just queen mother of the House of Knowles, filed for divorce from actor Richard Lawson after 8 years of marriage. 8 years. Now, they don't have no messy Instagram battle. There's no shade being thrown through burner accounts. No furniture has been moved. Just Tina stepping up and saying, "I woke up and didn't feel the same way anymore." Phew, that was a whole sentence, because you can hear this sentence and it's so grown, it makes your credit score go up. That was just one of those lines. And I'm going to be honest, that kind of statement doesn't come from nowhere. That's not a "I forgot to take the chicken out" kind of energy, you know? I've been smiling through some stuff and I'm done now energy. The soul level honesty. I'm going to self-reflect. Situations I dealt with just to be in a situation and I wasn't happy. So I understand wholeheartedly where Tina Knowles is coming from. And you know how brave that is? You know, especially when you're over 70. You've already raised your babies. You've done the wife thing, the mama thing, the grandma thing. Now you're just trying to sip your wine in peace without explaining why he's always in the other room. It takes guts to look at your life, no matter what age, and just say, you know what? This isn't making me happy anymore. Because let's face it, society loves telling women, especially mature women, just to be grateful. Like, girl, you better stay with that man. You're not 25 anymore. As if our opinions evaporate like collagen at midnight. Please, this ain't Cinderella. And you don't turn into a pumpkin at 60. Women are constantly being told that after a certain age, we should settle. That we're just lucky to have somebody. No. You are not a thrift store couch. You ain't lucky to be taken in by anybody. Let's call it for what it is. Tina chose peace over performance. She chose herself. And I know some folks are confused, like, but he's Richard Lawson. He's handsome. He's Debbie Morgan's ex. And yes, what they got to do with joy? I'm telling you, sometimes the partner is a good person and still not the right person for you anymore. And the longer you try to force it, the more you're just wasting your own peace, your own time, and your own glow. So when Tina says she woke up, I felt that. Because waking up doesn't mean you're always asleep. Sometimes you were just ignoring the signs, hitting the snooze button a little too often on your own instincts, and playing nice for the sake of not rocking the boat. But sometimes the boat does need to be rocked. And if it flips, so be it. You're going to float just fine. And there is so much pressure when you are in a relationship, because the elephant in the room is wearing matching couple outfits, holding hands at red carpets, pretending everything's peachy when behind closed doors you barely agree on what to eat for dinner. I'm going to bring up that famous elevator scene with Solange, Beyonce, and Jay-Z. Security cameras show what really happened, but when the red carpet was hit, it was all smiles and waves. Let's be honest. Society loves a woman in a relationship, especially if she is a mature woman. If you're over 50 and you're single, people start looking at you like you left the house without your wig glued on. It's wild how a woman can be successful, smart, healthy, looking damn good, got grandbabies who adore her, and folks still want to ask, so no man? Like a man is the prize at the bottom of a cereal box. And, first and foremost, I'm the whole box and the shelf it sits on. Don't play with me. But that's the pressure, right? We've been conditioned to believe that being in a relationship, any relationship, is better than being alone. That if you're single past a certain age, something must be wrong with you. Maybe the only thing wrong is that I have standards now. Because when you were younger, you were dating, you tolerated certain nonsense. But as you get seasoned, you're not for it. And let me tell you, it's even harder when you're in the public eye. Now, I'm not famous. But when you're in the mix like Miss Tina, there's an added pressure to keep up appearances. Can't be caught out here looking divorced and content. You gotta smile next to your man at the gala, even though y'all rode at the event in separate Ubers and haven't had a real conversation since Juneteenth. That power couple image. And sometimes it's just two people sharing a checking account and a PR team. Behind the scenes, it's don't touch me energy, separate bedrooms. But women, especially of a certain age, we're taught to grin and bear it. We're told to just hang in there, be patient. Men go through phases. At your age, it's hard to find someone new. Well, guess what? I'd rather be hard to find than easy to forget. The pressure to stay in something that no longer serves you just because it looks good to the outside world, that will wear your soul down. You'll wake up one day, look in the mirror, and not recognize the woman looking back. And what did Tina say again? I woke up. And being single doesn't mean being lonely. Being in a relationship doesn't automatically mean you're loved. Sometimes you're just a placeholder in somebody else's ego trip. So if you're over 50, 60, even 70, and you're single, you have not expired. You're seasoned. You got better boundaries now, better wigs, better taste in red wine. Ain't nothing dusty about it. So let folks clutch their pearls while you go live your best life in peace. No man snoring next to you or telling you to turn down the volume on your Real Housewives. Keep in mind, happiness is not a marital status. Because being married doesn't mean you're happy. Being single doesn't mean you're sitting at home crying over wine and reruns of Love Jones. Let's kill that tired narrative where happiness is supposed to show up in a tuxedo with a questionable credit score. If you want to know what happiness looks like, it's a woman stretched across her bed, nobody's ashy knees touching her under the covers. It's peace. Let's talk about women who thrived after walking away from something or someone that was no longer serving their joy. First of all, Tina Knowles. She is not the only one that woke up. She's just the latest to say it out loud. Remember Toni Braxton? She said after her divorce, she finally had time to figure out what she liked. So imagine that. A grown woman finally realizing she didn't even like football, but had been sitting through games for 10 years. 10 years. Because it's about the truth. How many of us have been out here fake laughing through bad jokes, cold chicken wings just to be supportive? And don't even get me started on Niecy Nash. Left her husband, found her peace, and married a woman who loves her loudly and proudly. Now she's glowing like fresh coconut oil on a sunny day. Y'all see that wedding? Pure joy. I don't even know her personally, but I wanted to go to that wedding. But it's not just celebrities. I know real women, mothers, aunties, church ladies with edges still intact who found their joy after letting go. One of my girlfriends got divorced at 61. She said she hadn't slept that good in 30 years. She even took her first solo vacation after the split. She went to Jamaica, got her groove back, was sending us photos of her swimsuit, saying no man, no problems. Okay, go ahead, sis. Being single is not a curse. It's not a diagnosis. You're not on a relationship probation. It's just a season or a choice. That could be beautiful if you let it be. Society's little whisper campaign wants you to think if you're not booed up, something's missing. But what if the only thing missing is the stress? What if you gained your peace, your identity, your freedom to fart without judgment? And some folks are in relationships just to say they are not alone, but they still feel lonely as hell every day. That's the worst kind of loneliness. Laying next to somebody and still feel unseen? I'd rather have an empty bed than an empty spirit. And happiness is not a man. It's not a +1. It's not a ring or a stash change on Facebook. It's peace, it's freedom, it's waking up and knowing that your joy doesn't depend on whether someone else remembers your anniversary or not. So if you're divorced, single, in a situationship, or just vibing with yourself, you are enough. You're not waiting for love, you're living in it. And if anyone asks why you still single, just let them know. Because I love myself too much to settle. And I'm not interested in housebreaking a grown man. And I want y'all to get this out your head. Age is not the end of the road. Let me clear up this myth. Older women have fewer options. Where? In what universe? Maybe if you still try to date like you was 22 and impressed by a man with a car and a six-pack and zero ambition, yeah, that's a dating disaster. But I'm going to say this slowly for the folks in the back. Age doesn't shrink your options. It just shrinks your tolerance. And that definitely is not a bad thing. Dating in your 50s, your 60s, and yes, your fabulous 70s is a whole new vibe. Back in the day, we were out here thinking red flags were just passion and bad boys just needed one good woman to fix them. But now, if a man raises his voice at the waiter, I'm calling Uber immediately. Because when you're older, you know who you are. You're not out here molding yourself to fit someone else's lifestyle. You're not pretending to like cigars or listen to jazz just because he's into it. If I don't like it, I'm not doing it. I'm not dressing up in Spanx just to sit across from someone who can't even spell conversation. And let me tell you something, confidence is sexy at any age. There is nothing more attractive than a woman who walks into a room, doesn't need to be seen. She just is. She's not competing, she's not comparing or begging for attention. She is moisturized, she's booked and blessed. And I've had men in their 30s and 60s tell me that you're intimidating. And I say that's not intimidation, that's called boundaries. Y'all gotta know the difference. But the bottom line, getting older doesn't mean your options vanish. It means you've got the power to be selective and the wisdom to avoid the nonsense. If anything, these are the prime years. You know what you want, you know what you don't. And best of all, you got the receipts from all the lessons you've already learned. Now let me get to the juicy part. The signs it's time to choose you. Because not every storm means you gotta grab an umbrella. Sometimes it's just the universe telling you to walk away dry and fabulous. So here's what you need to know. It's time to pack up your piece and exit stage left. Number 1, you're doing all the emotional labor. You're the therapist, the planner, the hype woman, the female version of Flavor Flav, and the maid, and still expect to be sexy on demand. If I wanted a full-time job with no benefits, I go back to retail, okay? Number 2, you don't even like who you are when you're around them. You used to laugh, now you sigh. You used to have dreams, now you're just trying to survive the weekend. If your spirit feels heavy every time they walk in the room, that is not love. That's a hostage situation. Number 3, you fantasize more about peace and silence than you do about your partner. If your dream vacation is one where he's not invited, that might be a clue. Number 4, you keep making excuses to family and friends. Oh, he's just tired, and we're going through a little phase. No, what you're going through is realization, and that's your first step to freedom. And the last one, you've outgrown them. This is the toughest one. You've evolved, but they're still parked at level 2. Life is like a video game. Love is great, but growth is necessary. Don't shrink yourself just to make someone else feel comfortable. Listen, choosing you doesn't mean you're being selfish. It means you're finally seeing your worth. You're choosing peace over pretending, joy over judgment, and self-respect over getting by. So if you're listening to this and that little tingle in your gut, that's not gas, okay? It's your intuition. And it's telling you it's okay to choose you. In fact, it's about damn time you chose you. Now, the power of waking up. And no, I don't mean crawling out of bed with one eyelash hanging off and asking what day it is. I mean the deep soul level awakening, where something clicks and you realize, this ain't it no more. Tina Knowles said she just woke up one day and didn't feel the same. And baby, that ain't just even a quote. That's a spiritual shift. It's like your inner self grabs the mic and says, hey, I've been quiet for years, but I'm done doing this. Now, let me be clear. Waking up doesn't always mean divorce. Sometimes it just means you're about to start telling the truth to yourself, your friends, to your mirror, and maybe to that man who's been chewing with his mouth open for 12 years and you just couldn't take it no more. It could mean leaving a job, setting new boundaries, finally going to therapy, or just realizing you don't even like half the people you follow on social media and hitting that unfollow button like it's bingo night. Waking up is messy sometimes. It disrupts routines, it makes people uncomfortable, but growth is not supposed to be cozy. You can't wear tight shoes just because they match your outfit, because at some point, your shoes are going to make your feet blister, and that's when you know it's time to kick them off. And your peace is not up for debate. If something in your spirit says we need more, then it is your job to listen. That's self-love. It's maturity. It's waking up and choosing yourself, even if it shakes the room. So wherever you are in life, whether it's a soft whisper or a loud siren blaring in your chest, don't ignore it. The wake-up call comes for all of us. The question is, will you hit the snooze or will you answer? All right, let's wrap up this wonderful episode. Keep in mind, you don't owe anyone your peace. Not your ex, not your mama's favorite church member, not that man that still calls you baby girl, even though your knees pop louder than bubble wrap. Even if they're a good person, if they're not good for you, that's enough. Remember, waking up and choosing you isn't selfish, it's sacred. Now, don't be stingy. If this episode made you laugh, think, or side-eyed your situation, go ahead, follow, subscribe, and share it with your crew, your cousins, your group chat, your situationship, if they can handle it. And if you got a dilemma, a shady story, or you just need big sister advice, send me your letters at talktomemichele@gmail.com. I might just read it on the show with love and a little sass. Need more great shows? Check out the fam over at the MBG Podcast Network. And if you want to support this show, keep the caffeine flowing and the mic hot, head on over to buymeacoffee.com/talktomemichele and show your girl some love. Follow me on all the socials, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever you scroll, at Talk to Me Michele on everything. And before I let you guys go, I'm going to leave you guys with this. You're not too old, you're just on time. For your time. All right? Until next time, choose peace. Maybe delete that text you were just about to send. I will see you guys next episode. Peace.
Talk to me, Michele.